Alrighty.
Scared you, didn't it?
What's that?
That scared you, didn't it?
All right. I guess we should do the Pledge of Allegiance. Would that be appropriate?
Yes.
There we go. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
invisible,
with liberty
with liberty
liberty,
and
justice
justice for all.
for all. All right. All right. Well, I guess the first item is the approval of tonight's agenda. Mark, you want to make a motion?
Yes, make a motion.
Ken, you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Can you see my video?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't. It's black on mine, but I don't need to see myself, so we're fine. I just want to make sure that it's
Oh, no,
working.
no, we can't see you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. I've had this happen once before, but the audio's working. I think we're good. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. All right, second item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the September 16th, 2021 meeting. We have
Move
a
to
motion
approve the
to-
minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes of September 16th are approved. So the first item on the agenda, and the only item on the agenda tonight is P338 Central Avenue, an application. I believe this is a concept plan.
Correct.
Are we gonna have any, Ken, are you gonna kind of handle as far as the notations on this go, or?
I have the overview.
Okay. All right, well, why don't you go ahead and give us that?
Mr. Schrader,
Yes, sir.
any swearing in?
No, this is not the Board of Adjustment, is it?
Nope. Very good. Thank you.
I'd be glad to swear you though, Mr. Semino, if you'd like.
You've sweared at me, I'm sure.
I knew that one was fun.
No, but that was earlier in the day. I've gotten over it.
All right, minor subdivision for 129 Central Avenue. Provided by Simpler Survey and Associates dated October 7th, 2021. Based on the review of the town engineer, Mr. James Lober, we offer the following comments. Generally, one, this property was the subject of an application for rezoning from R1 to R3 in December 2018. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended to the town council that the application be granted in May 2019. On June 11, 2019, ordinance 363 was adopted, amending the zoning designation to R3. Please reflect the correct zoning on the plan and ensure that the dimensional requirements shown both on the plan and in the data column are appropriate. Floodplain. Only a very small portion of this property at the northeast corner lies within FEMA map floodplain AE base flood elevation 7. As such, for the purpose of this subdivision, the property can be considered to be outside of the regulated special flood hazard area. Correct the floodplain note on the plan to specifically address this property. Sanitary sewer. The sanitary sewer along the frontage of this property is within the cartway for Central Avenue. Central Avenue is a state-owned and maintained road. If DelDOT denies road cut permit for utility installation, a parallel common sewer main may be required to tie the new parcels into the public sewer system. This may require an easement across these lands. DelDOT approval. 1, as previously mentioned, Central Avenue is a state-owned and maintained road. A DelDOT letter of no objection will be required prior to recordation of the subdivision plan. If DelDOT denies access permits and insists on a shared point of access for the newly subdivided lots, cross-access easements will be necessary. The Office of Planning, Zoning and Development recommends approval with conditions for not only the DelDOT Llano, but the decision from DelDOT on denial of utility permits and/or access, as well as all other pertinent approvals from the other agencies.
Okay. So, Dennis, do we have anyone from,
I just got one thing I need to read, Ken.
okay,
So the applicant shall secure all other licenses and permits required for the use of the premises from the state, federal, or county agencies with jurisdiction over the use of the property, and shall otherwise comply with all applicable rules, regulation, statutes, or ordinances relating to the use of the property and the zoning requirements of that district. The applicant shall provide to the town copies of all licenses and permits issued by agencies or governmental entities.
The next step, Mr. Little, would be to have the applicant or the applicant's representative describe the application for the benefit of the commission.
right. And would that be Tom? Who's on here?
That would be Chris Washington.
That will be me, gentlemen.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm sorry, what was your question, Kent?
I was just giving them your name.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You have the opportunity now, Mr. Washington, to present your application to the commission and describe what this proposal is.
Okay, back in 2019, well, a little bit of history, most of you gentlemen, I believe, were there when we had requested the change from the zoning from R1 to R3. As you all know, the lot used to be commercial back before we had purchased it. It got switched to R1, then we had changed it to R3. It had the old remnants of the old hardware store from Ocean View, as well as the old apartments that were there. So I believe it was 6 units. Our plan at the time was to make it more cost effective, obviously for us in terms of value of the property, is to either put something like a 6-unit townhome complex on there, which we feel does not really fit into the area. So the thought now is that either we will subdivide it into 3 lots. And since it's R3, either consisting of 3 single-family homes or 3 duplexes, or still 6 units, but a duplex in nature rather than having a townhouse building, which again would stand or wouldn't fit in with the current. I do have a question regarding the engineer had made a comment regarding the sewer. That the previous property was serviced, had sewer, and I believe it has already had 6 EDUs that were feeding the existing buildings there. So I'm a little unclear as to what the engineer's concerns were.
Maybe that wasn't shown on the plan, but if it's there, it shouldn't be a problem.
All
Okay.
you have to do, Mr. Washington, is show that you've contacted the county engineering department and received a connection permit.
Okay. So again, gentlemen, like the idea, and we're kind of in preliminary here, is to again either do 3 single-family homes or to do 3 duplexes.
Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Washington?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, we're obviously basic and early in this process.
While we have a lull in the action, I'd just like to point out for the record, as we're doing this as a Zoom meeting, that there was submitted to each member of the Planning Commission a copy of the agenda, a copy of the application with attachments, a copy of a plot entitled Minor Subdivision for 129 Central Avenue, being the lands of CNC Real Estate Holdings, prepared by Simpler Surveying, a copy of ordinance number 363, which was referred to by Mr. Washington, changing the zone of the property from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Townhouse and Residential District zoning, and a copy of Mr. Lober's letter of Kircher Engineering with the comments from his preliminary review of this particular project. All of that would be part of the record. Is there someone online who wishes to address the commission either in favor of or in opposition to this particular application? And we'll let Russ tell us.
No, I'm not seeing anyone. Actually, if there's a raise your hand icon, they can use that to raise their hand, but seems as though there's no one else but who you're seeing on the screen now.
That leaves it to you, Mr. Kaczynski. Do you want to address the commission on this application? You need to unmute yourself.
He's unmuted on our end. That's something he has to do on his end.
You can get to the lower left of your screen, Mr. Kaczynski. You'll see an icon that looks like a microphone. How you making out?
I don't think he has it.
I think it was said that he appears unmuted, so he has a connection problem.
Yeah, he does appear unmuted on my screen.
Right.
Well, Mr. Kaczynski, we've lost your video also.
There's the video back. The audio's still not working.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Kaczynski, are you supporting this application? If the answer is yes, raise your thumb. There you go. Do you wish to add anything to what Mr. Semino or the applicant have had to say? If not, thumbs down. Thank you, Mr. Kaczynski. Somehow we'll manage to get into the record that you participated in this proceeding, okay?
We understand his point of view.
Yeah, there you go. In fact, we wish more people who spoke at these hearings were as articulate as you have been.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think there are any other persons present in this Zoom meeting who have anything to add either as a negative comment or a positive comment concerning this matter. The agenda indicated that this was a preliminary site plan review, if I
No.
recall.
The concept,
correctly. Say again, please.
it's a concept plan, right?
Let's see what the agenda calls for.
Yeah, I think I remember it being a concept plan in the,
It says, it's actually not a model of clarity. It says application P 338 is a land development site plan submitted by the property owner. C&C and does not describe whether this is a preliminary or a concept. Mr. Lober's letter describes it as a concept.
that's where I saw it, yeah.
All right. Well, if
It
it's
is a concept.
As a concept plan, there is no need to take a vote. The question is whether or not, as a consensus opinion, the planning commission believes that Mr. Washington and C&C Real Estate Holdings are all headed in the right direction by dividing this property into 3 parcels.
I do have one question for Ken. Being on Central Avenue in a concept plan, does it require to show the entrance and exit points to the property? In other words, drawing out the egress and all that, or is that part of the preliminary plan?
That'll be shown as part of the preliminary plan when they get into the details of design. At this point, the applicant needs to get with DelDOT and find out what they want for their access. Then he'll put it on paper.
Okay, and that could change depending upon whether it's 3 single-family homes or duplexes, correct?
I don't think there'll be much change, whether it's 3 families, 3 singles or 3 duplexes. Other than maybe the duplexes may have additional entrances on the Central Avenue, 1 for each unit.
Right. Okay,
But I think the access in principle will stay the same.
alrighty. All right. Well, there's no, we don't take a vote on this, correct?
Correct.
Correct. But
So,
everybody seems to be supportive, including Mr.
Yeah.
Sigvarsson.
Yeah,
Mr.
this is
Nicholson.
Ken, and I mean, I think this is going in the right direction. It makes sense. So yeah, I support it as it is now.
It's
Alrighty.
probably an unnecessary comment, but when this was originally presented to the town council for a change of zone, I think it was favorably received, got a lot of favorable reception because there's interest in seeing that site cleaned up and something's put in there that is going to be a positive for the town of Ocean View.
right, I agree.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the only question I have right now is what's going to be the deciding factor, whether it's going to be duplexes or single family?
But I can guess the answer. Market?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be market, quite honestly, gentlemen. I mean, it's as I'm sure most of you have seen, you know, it's I do this a lot. You know, we do a lot of these. We do rentals, we do everything, and typically we buy a property, we go through the process like we're doing now. As you guys have probably seen, there's for sale sign on there. There's been for sale sign for the last year or so. Every project has a certain profit. And if I can hit the profit with doing nothing, then I hit the profit doing nothing. That's what I do. Otherwise, we continue to move forward. There's been a lot of interest in terms of that property. I'm sure the town's received numerous phone calls about it. I've received numerous phone calls. A lot of people want me or us to turn it back into commercial like it used to be. I'm not going down that route. I've already, we've already changed the zoning. I'm not going to, my company would not ask to do that anymore. My vision of it, honestly, is probably to do the 3 duplexes. It makes the most financial sense. I wanted to submit it, make sure that the town was receptive to it, as well as figure out, okay, well, you guys all seem to be receptive. So the next step is what? I go to DelDOT and get their approvals, tentative approvals. I mean, one of those, where do we go from here?
Once you've made up your mind, Mr. Washington, as to what you propose to use the project for, I don't know who your design professional is, but there'll probably be a number of simultaneous activities. You're going to become a little more finite in your plans. You're going to talk to DelDOT. You're going to talk to county engineering about sewer. I'm not sure who the water company is, whether it's the town or Tidewater, but you're going to have to make arrangements for that and any other utilities you propose on site. You're going to have a fair number of activities, but I would expect most of them to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys have, when we first bought that property, we were told that by a lot of people that the town of Ocean View was extremely difficult to work with. We have not had that issue whatsoever. In fact, you guys have been very receptive. You meaning the town had worked with us to change the zoning. We've cleaned it up. Obviously, we tore down the buildings. We tore down or cleaned up all the concrete debris and all that. It's a little overgrown looking right now. That'll be addressed in the summer or spring, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we're more than willing to work with you as long as you guys are working with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All righty. Well, if there's no further business for us tonight, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, folks. Stay out of the nasty weather out there.
Yep. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good night.
Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
gentlemen.
Bye.
All right, thank you.